A life made of courage and determination. That was Tyson. Tyson never met an obstacle that he couldn't overcome or work through. My name is Karen Jepson, and I am Tyson's stepmom. I met Tyson when he was 2 years old, a very proud 2-year-old that never in 39 years ever complained about his life. The name Tyson is an Old English origin and means firebrand. The name is often associated with strength, courage, and determination. He is someone who is a force to be reckoned with. He has a strong and confident personality and not afraid to take on any challenge. He is a born fighter. He has an infectious energy and a positive attitude, and he will make every moment a victory. Now, doesn't that sound like our Tyson? For all you new parents, so I'm going to point over here, for all you new parents, be careful when you ask your 6-year-old child, who would you like to invite to a birthday party? As the answer might be not what you're expecting. The answer we got from Tyson that day was Mandy. Mandy is a 4-foot-high, gigantic Great Dane. You saw in the pictures. Mandy was Uncle Jimmy's dog, and like all uncles, Jimmy would do anything for Tyson. Mandy arrived at the door with a happy birthday hat on her head. Tyson's infectious energy and positive attitude secured Mandy's invitation. Jeff reminded me, my son, that Mandy was the dog that paced the pool edge when Tyson had his first real swim in a pool and growled every time Bruce tried to place Tyson in the water. Tyson made every moment a victory. Tyson loved his Lego. Every Christmas and birthday he would receive many Lego kits and would spend hours creating the picture on the box. His dad built a shelf in his room where he could proudly display them and took every opportunity to show them off to anyone that arrived for the family dinners. We found a swim with the dolphins area in Key Largo that Tyson would be able to attend. When entering the swimming area, all the dolphins with their sonar zeroed in on Tyson as they knew he was special. As he walked along the swimming areas, each dolphin made its way closer to check him out. Elvis was the dolphin they chose to swim with, and as large as he was Tyson's gentle giant. Tyson couldn't talk about this experience enough. He was thrilled to have the opportunity to swim with the dolphins, and I'm sure it took all his strength and courage to actually get into that water. Excuse me. The Jepson family was in the Brampton Santa Claus parade for many, many years. We became known as the Wizard of Oz family. Dorothy, Cowardly Lion, Tin Man, and Scarecrow, and of course, Toto. Tyson was so excited to be Toto the dog and pulled in the wagon in the parade. He actually barked the entire route. Talk about determination to be in a character. One frosty winter day, Tyson was driving home from one of his satellite hospitals that he worked with through Stratford. A huge storm was brewing, and doesn't Tyson's truck break down? Not only that, but the OPP had just closed all the roads due to visibility. Quick thinking, Tyson contacted the OPP, described his location and his problem. Not a half hour later, and the OPP arrives and a tow truck just shortly behind. Tyson was towed to the dealership in Stratford where he negotiated a purchase of a brand new truck. But because he needed hand controls, this would take some time. Again, to close the deal, Tyson had the dealership agree to drive him to and from work and some grocery shopping for the next 2 weeks, which turned out to be a little longer than that. That's strong and confident personality. And I was just told here today that all 4 flags at the hospital, because they had satellite hospitals, so Stratford, St. Mary's, and I'm sorry, but I don't remember the other 2. But all 4 hospitals' flags are at half staff today. There are many stories to share, family dinners with grandparents, aunts, uncles, and cousins, stories from the campfires that you may, or you may not, guys, be able to share with us, but have just brought a special memory to your forefront. He was known to sing the Oscar Mayer Wiener song, that's in the wedding up there, or to dance the chicken song at a wedding. He always looked you in the eye when speaking with you and was completely interested in what you were saying. He had a compassionate heart and always had a smile and a twinkle in his eye. Tyson has many family and friends, some of which were not able to be here. Aunts and uncles in Florida, friends in Florida, friends in Nova Scotia, friends in Arizona, cousins in California, cousins in Washington State and BC, and even friends in Australia. Since Mother Nature was flexing her muscle today, some friends were not able to make it here today. And quite simply, this room says it all. Tyson had a world of family and friends. It is my belief that Tyson is surrounded by 4 sets of grandparents. Nan and Grand's White, Grandma and Grandpa Jepson, Nana and Papa Fletcher, and Grandma and Grandpa Thompson. So when you think of Tyson, remember that smile and his giggle. He will be the blue butterfly that lands near you, the sound of a summer breeze rustling through the trees, the quiet moment beside you when you are in your happy place. He loved life. And I just lost the page. He loved life and was determined to live every moment. Bless you, Tyson. You will live long in our memories. Thanks. Want me to put it down?
Yeah, put it down. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Ross Jepson. I am so pleased to be asked to say a few words about someone who is very special to all of our family, my wonderful nephew, Tyson. What an extraordinary man Tyson was. We were always so very proud of him. Tyson was a real hero to me. Whenever I was confronted with any challenges in my life, and unfortunately there's been many, I always remembered Tyson and how courageous he was in facing the many challenges that he overcame. It always put things into perspective for me. If Tyson can keep going, then suck it up, Ross, because Tyson overcame so many challenges every day. In addition to his strength and tenacity, the thing that I always remember is what a fantastic sense of humor he had. Just look at all the photos of him and you will always see that fantastic smile. People would often say what a great laugh he had. But if you look a little bit closer at the photos, you will also see a special glint in his eye, a twinkle that showed what a special man he was. So, if you have not yet had a chance to look at the pictures in the video, please take a minute and you will see. On the Jepson family, Tyson was the youngest. All the grandchildren in our family were boys, but Tyson was always special. Throughout his life, his whole family was very important to him. Whenever the Jepsons got together, Tyson was never to be ignored or left out. No way. He was always stuck in the middle of the activity, standing ground and determined to be involved. When I was preparing my thoughts for this afternoon, I remember my parents, Tyson's grandparents, Kay and Harry Jepson. They, of course, loved all of their grandsons, but Tyson was very special to them. They always made sure that Tyson was the center of attention. I smiled when I read Tyson's obituary. About halfway through the words, it says, "Life was not easy for Tyson, but he met every obstacle head-on and with determination." Well, I remember when I was young, my father saying to my mother, "Kay, you are incredibly stubborn." My mother was quick to say that she was not stubborn at all. In fact, she was determined to get things done. And there it is, that same word that Karen mentioned, determined. When I looked up determination in the dictionary, I also said that determination suggested that you were single-minded. Yes, our Tyson was determined, and he was also single-minded. I was also surprised in the Webster Dictionary to see a picture of my mother standing there with her finger pointing out. I'm sure she was saying, "Tyson, you could do whatever you want." Not to be controversial, but to make things even more interesting, my mother's maiden name was White, Kay White. Same maiden name as Tyson's mother's family, perhaps a coincidence, same last name. So it just may be possible that Tyson's determination came from both sides of his heritage. I remembered many years ago that we had a Jepson family golf tournament. Before we teed off, Jeff, Andrew, Ryan, and Terry were all at the driving range trying to show off their golf skills. Balls were flying everywhere as the young teenage studs thought they were letting their testosterone take control. I asked Tyson to be my partner. Even though Tyson could not hit a golf club, someone had adapted a putter so Tyson could at least putt. When we got into the golf cart, I asked Tyson to drive. He could not reach the pedals, so he sat on my lap. I pushed the gas and brake pedals as Tyson steered the cart. He was thrilled. I'm sure we drove further than any other group that day. I even remember the marshal of the golf course saying that Tyson should not be driving. I said, Tyson was a very special driver. The marshal took one look at him. He smiled and said, "Gentlemen, enjoy your round," and away he went. When we got on the green, Tyson joined me and the others, and he would putt away. Tyson even holed a few shots, which was a thrill for him. I remember Tyson saying to me, "Uncle Ross, we need to beat my brothers and cousins." Yes, Tyson was also a little bit competitive as well. I then said to Tyson that we needed to do what was ever possible to beat the others. After all, there was the honor of winning the Jepson family golf tournament. I suggested that he should keep our score on the scorecard, and I just hinted, that maybe he could modify the scores only slightly. Tyson laughed wildly as he doctored the scorecard, and he was not shy in razzing the others when they saw the results. Tyson also was very good at many technical skills. His mind was always very active. I'm sure that led to his career as a biomedical engineering technologist. Often when Tyson was a youngster, Andrew reminded me that he would often show up to family events with these large banners that he had created for someone's birthday, etc. He obviously had access to a computer and one of those old dot matrix printers. I'm sure many of you don't remember dot matrix printers, but I can suggest that it would take hours for this thing to go back and forth, creating these banners. Blue Water Beach was a very special, important place for all the Jepson family. To me and my family, it's the best place on the planet. We spent many fantastic weekends and holidays there with family and friends. My father was a retired carpenter. He was an incredibly creative individual and often tinkered away in his workshop at the cottage. Terry reminded me of the wooden excavator that Grandpa had made for Tyson, and it was only for Tyson. Do you guys remember that excavator? I think there's a picture of it actually on the thing.
Yeah.
Thank you. The excavator was unbelievable. It had a special seat on it where Tyson could pull on the various levers to control the large arm and the bucket, and the wooden tracks which allowed someone to push him any place he wanted to go. This thing was incredible. Tyson would dig in the beautiful sand where he would make trenches and create lakes. All the other boys had crummy old plastic shovels and pails, but Tyson had his own custom-made excavator. When Lizzie and I got married back in 2005, because my wife is from Scotland, we had arranged for all the male family members of our family to wear a kilt to the ceremony. Tyson was a little delayed arriving, as he had just had his graduation where he had received his biomedical engineering technology degree. The family was thrilled at his accomplishment. So that evening, after the wedding, the grandsons were enjoying the odd beverage. Mostly beer, as I recall. And Bruce and I were standing outside the building, and we were eavesdropping on the boys. They were all giggling away as they were planning to march into the middle of the wedding dance, flip up their kilts, and prove that all men who wear kilts do not wear underwear. And yes, Tyson was a member of that gruesome plot. Just so you know, pictures of the big kilt reveal are posted on the wedding.com site for your viewing. And believe me, ladies, there really was no big deal. Lastly, I wish to proudly acknowledge how Tyson's immediate family were so incredibly diligent in supporting Tyson over the last 3 months. I cannot imagine how stressful and gut-wrenching it was being with him all that time. Someone was with Tyson every day over the entire 3-month period. Emotions were on a roller coaster ride. Tyson received so much love and support. I want to thank Bruce and Karen, Marg and Roy, and Ryan and Tammy. Thank you.
For those of you who don't know me, I'm Tyson's brother, Ryan. I'd like to thank everyone for coming out today. It is truly amazing looking around the room, just seeing all the people that meant so much to Tyson. Tyson was truly loved by many and have touched the hearts of so many more. It is truly hard to put words to how much Tyson will be missed. Tyson was always there for talking. He loves having a chat. He was a great listener and loved having conversations with anybody. In saying that though, when you give Tyson a phone call, he never answered his phone, ever. You'd get a phone call about 10 or 15 minutes later, and you'd say, oh, he's always up to something, but he always had his phone in his pocket, so I don't know how that really worked out. Tyson was a great brother and an inspiration for everyone. Some of Or someone that was, someone that you always look up to and want to chat with. Tyson didn't have the easiest of hands dealt to him, but somehow he managed to fight through whatever he was going through and laugh at something else along the way. His stubbornness and his sense of humor, I'm sure, are what got him through to where he was. All the way through school, whether it being at our public school at MAPS or being at the high school at ODSS, there wasn't a teacher or a student in the whole school that didn't know Tyson's name. He'd walk up and down the halls and everyone would say hello. He may not have known their name, but they all seemed to know his. As we got older, Tyson was a huge fan of get-togethers, whether it was just friends hanging out, parties, buck and does, stag parties, or weddings. Tyson was happy to be there and chatting to everyone along the way. Growing up in Orangeville, we got to know everyone and anyone. So being such a small town, there was only 2 spots that held buck and does in Orangeville. Tyson managed to make most of the buck and does and enjoyed being there to chat to whoever and talk about old times. In saying that, Tyson somehow must have put his name in every draw and participated in every contest. Because at the end of every buck and doe, we somehow had to find out how we were going to get all this stuff that he had won home. So over the last week, it has been truly incredible on how many people have reached out to talk about Tyson. There's been some great photos and lots of great stories. Some of the fun memories that come to mind about Tyson were trips to Florida, Disneyland, driving Ty to Lake Joe for his kidney camp, family trips to BC, and hanging around the farm or the cottage. So on my stag, we ended up having the pleasure to go to New York. In one of those memories in New York was quite funny. There's New York, if anyone's been there, it is absolutely impossible to get around. The transportation wasn't great, so there's a lot of walking. And somehow through all this, Tyson didn't bother him at all. It might have taken us a little longer to get where we had to go, but it didn't seem to faze him a bit. One last thing I could think of for Ty was we were downtown Toronto, a bunch of friends, all leaving the bar in Toronto. None of us were in very good shape, but we were walking across the street and there was a homeless gentleman sitting there, and he was trying to sell random hands, feet, and other body items that were in some kind of plaster form. We tried to sell Tyson's leg to the homeless person, but he didn't bite. Somehow we ended up buying some of these hands and feet. We thought it was a funny idea. It made for a good story in the morning. Saying all this, I was very fortunate to have Tyson as my best man in my wedding. Yeah. He meant the world to me and so many others. Tyson will be missed by so many. He was a trooper and one hell of a brother. I'd like to take the time to thank everyone for coming today, to remember Tyson, to show the support for him and us. And one final note, I'd just like to say a special thanks to Randy and his lovely staff at Memorial Funeral Service. They've made a hard time a little bit easier. Thank you.